couple minutes to warm up. Just going to give people one more minute here to hop in.
All right.
I don't know if we announced that this was going to be a weekly thing at 9 p.m. Eastern. We got a fair number of views from the last one. I
noticed that too. Yeah, I don't know if it's announced yet either.
Yeah, it was about 60
the announcement. We're aiming for this being weekly at 9 Eastern on Thursday.
All right. I think we can get started. Get 2 or 3 minutes in here. So.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. This is our next update, technical update. Myself and Sean, and we're going to be running through items we have on Trello. So to start with, let's talk about the new proprietary mining pool. We were running initially a proprietary pool, and we had YIMP pools as well, and things have changed. Why don't you bring us up to speed?
Yeah. So the first pool that I wrote was quite naive implementation, and I learned a lot about just pool operations in general from the YIMP pool implementation. We paid a developer to write the stratum, the thing in between the miner and the YIMP pool for our coin. Unfortunately, after we went live for a couple of weeks or 3 weeks on that, we found that it had some significant issues. So about a week ago, I decided to reinstate our own proprietary pool. I designed it to be cross-platform. I think that was one of the main issues with the previous pool, aside from it being, again, sort of naive. But this is designed with C++. It will cross-compile to Ubuntu easily. And it incorporates all of the various features of the YIMP stratum, but it's tailored to our algorithm, and it is easily modified to handle smart contracts, which are coming soon. So, which we would have had to change the YIMP stratum anyway, and we'll make available, some limited number of free instances for pool operators to run this software. I know that some people run multiple YIMP pools on one hardware, so I know that this might be an imposition, but it's actually very, very low resource. It's very efficient. So we'll make some hardware available for people if they want to run it and they don't want to pay for the.
Yeah, I think you were telling me that on a 4-core instance, it was just running at like 0.5% of load or something like that. Just like you don't even hardly know it's there. Okay.
Yeah, the full node takes up 7 or 8% of the CPU. This takes up about
Well done. So yeah, and part of the reasons for doing this, there were numerous issues that were discovered in the prior pool stratum, and so it was making it not fair for everybody. So this was really just a very important and necessary fix. At the same time, doors are open for anyone who wants to develop this current solution for YIMP, if possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Although I would encourage them to wait till we implement smart contracts, because that's going to just completely
For
blow
sure.
the whole.
Exactly.
Yeah, the whole thing changes when you do smart contracts.
Right. Great. Okay. Well, do you have anything else to say about smart contracts, or do you think you already just covered it?
The only update from a technical standpoint is that originally I had published support for a limited number of Z80 opcodes. I think it was about 20, something like that. And in thinking that through, initially what I had thought was that I would use initially just assembly, and that we would write smart contracts in assembly, which is a little bit, I would write an assembler, which is not hard. But obviously you want to be able to program in perhaps something a little more high level like C. And so I started researching C compilers for Z80 processors, and there are a whole bunch of open source ones out there. And so I will probably end up supporting the entire Z80 instruction set. And I think that'll make our code coverage testing a little easier as well, because we'll be able to write fairly complex programs in C as opposed to hand coding them in assembly. So that's really the only thing. There's a little bit of incremental scope on the opcode coverage. Basically, it'll be an entire Z80 processor in a virtual machine.
And that ties right in nicely with the whole point of doing this, to make it more approachable for people trying to create smart contracts, right? Just so it's not as difficult compared to some of the competition.
Yep, for sure.
Great.
And you'll see, actually, there's some of these other guys are doing internet computer, and I think Decred was looking at they're doing 8086, which is a little bit, to me, a little bit crazy. That's
interesting.
Yeah, that's a virtual machine, but they were talking about supporting an entire 8086.
Roughly, just because I don't know, roughly how many more opcodes are there for that compared to the one you're building?
Hundreds. It's a very, and it's not only that, but it's all the different addressing modes, and all the sort of processor features. The Z80 is, I don't know, 30 something years old, right? It's a very sort of basic, it's an evolution of the 8080 from 1980, 1978, maybe something like, like 80s, right? So,
so there's a significant difference between the two.
Okay. 8086 is just really, really, really complicated.
Great. All right. What do you have for us on-chain community voting?
That's next up. I think we'll do start working on the website, and that's obviously the precursor to proof of stake, so that we can all vote on that. So I will be starting to put together all the wireframes in the process. We work through a bunch of different issues on voting, particularly for people with lots of wallets. I think we've solved all those issues, and so yeah, that is in the pipe.
We're still looking at being able to do this without needing any kind of a fork. Is that still right?
No fork. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, ideally we'd have voting in smart contracts, but to get us, this will kind of be the poor man's on-chain voting, right? So we're going to send a small burn amount to an address, tally up the votes. It'll be completely transparent. Anybody who runs a full node would be able to verify what the votes were that were cast. It's very simple. But it's not entirely like automated and decentralized as it should be. So there's still a central website that has to kind of publish this stuff. Ideally, all that stuff will be done on chain through smart contracts. But we can do that.
This is a first step.
Yep.
Great. All right. What about proof of stake? What's the latest there?
So that's really, we just have to decide on the split, and then we'll start to implement it. So that's the next thing.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people in the community have said, "Hey, let's get this in before Ethereum goes proof of stake, right? Because we want to be able to capture some of what's going to be bleeding off from Ethereum. So,
like you were telling me, I think the other night, though, who knows exactly when that's going to be. I think you were saying they were talking about anyway, setting up a system for pushing back the diff bomb 1 month at a time. Is that right?
Yeah, some automated way to push it monthly or something. Yeah, so,
did that go through, or was that just an idea at this point?
That was something that Tim Biko and Mika Zoltu were talking about on the call, and then in the Ethereum Magicians found the GitHub issues list, they had a back and forth with somebody who had said, "Hey, look, guys, why are you trying to do this monthly? Just give it another 6 months. Like, why do you want to make it so uncertain?" And then Tim shut that down right away. But yeah, they're definitely talking about it.
It feels like the odds are stronger than not that it's just not going to happen by June.
Yeah, although, interestingly, I don't think it. In the end, I just don't think it's going to matter that much because, yeah, there's a ton of hash power there, but that hash power is not hash power that's like mining and selling, right? Most people just mine and hold it, right? Because it's cheaper for them from an acquisition standpoint. So I think that stuff is going to go chase other coins, and all the investors with the risk-on appetite are going to chase other coins too, right? Everybody's going to move over to Raven and Conflux and all these other Eternity, right? And all the capitalists who buy this stuff to hope for 50x are going to chase that too. So
yeah,
I think I think they're dooming themselves because they're just inviting the SEC to come banging on their door. So I don't know. It'll be an interesting time. Yeah,
so,
I don't think it.
So not trying to peg you down on any kind of like a date, but percentage wise, roughly, where do you think you're at as far as having the virtual machine and proof of stake coded? Just
well, proof of stake I haven't done. Yeah, proof of stake I haven't done anything on because I want to get sign off from the community of what we're going to do, right? Okay. So I'm going to write the whole proposal, put that out for a vote. If everybody votes on it, then I can start development on it. I have a rough idea, but I really don't want to start any coding on that. So the virtual machine is the precursor to that. I think there's about 60 something opcodes or 70 opcodes, and I've got like 30 of them done. The only thing is that there's like a remote, indirect addressing mode that I have to deal with. So a little bit more work. So I'm hoping to have like a proof of concept demonstration on testnet like next week. I think it's it's pretty close.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to the investor marketing campaign. I think this ties into the new website being done, right?
Yeah. So we always said that we were going to start to reach out to investors to do some marketing. I had proposed that in the Discord earlier this week and got a little bit of pushback from a bunch of people saying that we should probably get the mining situation under control first, because if people come into this Discord and say, oh, look at this is a horrible situation with the mining, and they're redoing the miner, they're redoing the pool, all that stuff. I think and I took that to heart. I think that is legit. So maybe we just push it off a week. That's all. So
right. Okay, great.
But I do see us like going to CoinGecko and all these other places, exchanges, whatever, trying to advertise to buy the coin, right? To get more holders.
Right. Okay. Just kind of early adoption. That market. Yeah. Distributed storage. Anything new for that?
I finished up the initial design. I started playing around with a couple of different pieces of what I would call middleware, which would allow us to have like virtual raids. Didn't get too far with any of them in terms of like a concrete sort of working demo. And again, that really probably needs to have smart contracts done before we can implement that. I toyed with a level 2 concept, but I don't know. I kind of feel like it should be smart contract based to do the marketplace for buyers and sellers to transact.
So at this point, kind of leaning more towards on-chain rather than second layer. Not set in stone yet, though.
On-chain marketplace, right? So
Yeah.
so
Okay.
Sort of an L2 marketplace where, if I have a 10 terabytes of storage and I want to sell that, and there's a broker who has a client that wants 100 terabytes of storage, the broker could go find 10 people who have 10 terabytes through an L2 solution, like this kind of auction marketplace, if you will.
Okay.
But now I'm I don't know. I'm kind of leaning back, but I don't have the bandwidth to work on it right now, so it's kind of like it's not really a priority. But now I'm kind of feeling like maybe people could post their storage availability through a smart contract, and that smart contract would similarly force them to prove the availability of their storage periodically, and then slash them if they didn't do it or whatever. So
a while back, you were thinking about something like RAID 6+0, if I'm not mistaken, for kind of the setup and redundancy. Is that still up in the air at this point, or are you still leaning towards that?
Yeah, RAID 5, because RAID 6 is like hardware only. It's really, really hard to implement dual parity RAID rebuilds. So RAID 5, which is much simpler. So I think it would be from like predicting failures and stuff like that. And then it would be a mirror of mirrors. So you're talking about 20 drives, basically.
And in that example of 20 drives, how many could go offline and you wouldn't lose? You'd still have full availability.
So if we do, when I thought of RAID 5, I thought of 5 drives. And so you can lose 2, right? You can lose 1 in each mirror. So there's 4 mirrors. So you could lose a total of 4 drives out of the 20 without any loss. And then whenever the next one got lost, you would then be resilvering from one of the other 3 pools. So you would need to simultaneously lose 8 of those 20 drives simultaneously in order to have no recovery.
Okay. Yeah. And that's obviously adjustable. You could even have like a 5th mirror or something if you wanted to.
Yeah, we could mirror it again, so it would be 40 drives, and you'd have to have 16 simultaneous failures. One of the things we want to work towards is making it so that it's not centralized from a storage standpoint, so that one person at one location isn't running a whole bunch of machines appearing to be other machines.
Right. Yes.
We want to make sure it's truly distributed.
Right.
And so, because that would be just like a reputational risk to the chain, aside from a risk of data loss. So.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Some people will obviously be, everyday home users, and their internet's not 99.999% available, and neither are their computers and everything else. So it makes sense to have plenty of redundancy. Okay.
Yep.
All right. The metaverse with NFT physical good transactions. I know that you were doing some work on integrating a mall into the metaverse lobby that you've already built.
Yep. So I did complete the integration of the mall assets. Today I was working on a Total Mayhem store. Russell is going to be taking this to a conference to pitch it to a bunch of people. And so we're working on, basically it's kind of 4 different experiences. One is a physical goods sale. So there's t-shirts with a logo on a rack. And the idea is that you would be able to kind of pick it up and turn it around and look at it, and then purchase it right there. And there'll be like a whole bunch of t-shirts with different colors, and then you can pick the size or whatever else. And so we're looking to facilitate physical goods sale. There's a shelf with NFT cards on it. And so we'll mint a whole bunch of cards and put them all the different ones on the shelf. And then people can walk up and again, kind of pick up the card and look at it, and then make the NFT purchase right there. There's a game, like an old arcade style game, which appears like a console kind of thing. And it has it'll have like a little trailer running on it. And the idea is maybe you could do some kind of mini demo kind of game right there. Just we can pop up a JavaScript browser or something like that, or just have a mini game that actually plays on the console, something like that. And then the last thing is we'll have streaming video. So we're going to put up like a big projection TV on the wall, and we'll put our trailer there and maybe some other kind of advertisements or something. So it's kind of a whole store experience.
Right. So for people who don't know or haven't gone into the existing metaverse, it's basically a whole town, and you've got a avatar character in 3D, and you are basically free to run around this town and go where you want to. And so this mall is essentially created or opened it up so that storefronts now can be entered. Is that right? And so then there would be like a store for Total Mayhem, that this would all occur in 3D, where you could interact and make purchases and play games and what have you in this 3D world, with potentially more things connecting to it down the road.
Yep. We talked about having, obviously any kind of physical good retailer could set up shops here, and then we could have potentially there's a little stalls outside in the parking lot where individuals could rent a space, one Dynamo a month or something, and sell their own NFT. Well, it's kind of like a virtual OpenSea or something like that.
Right. And I take it the town can grow if it needs to.
Yeah, we just keep adding, we can keep rolling back the landscape.
What is it now? Is it something like 10 city blocks squared?
Yeah, maybe. It's like, it's
not small.
No, I'd say it's like 5 by 5. So 20, 25 square blocks, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great. All right. And is that still something people can download and try out right now? I know it was before.
Yeah, I had shut down the server maybe a month ago or so, because we went dormant on it a little bit. Once I'm done with the mall in the next couple of days, then I'll republish the binaries. We're hosting it on itch right now, so I'll republish the binaries, and then people can hop in and create an avatar, and it creates a wallet for you automatically, and you can actually do the transactions in the Total Mayhem store.
Great. All right. Simple web-based arcade games. Is this the Game Jam
yes.
contest? Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead and talk about that, please.
So we're entering a Game Jam, which is this kind of recreational programming competition. This particular one, it was rather fortuitous that it's happening right now. There's a one that happens twice a year. It's called Bracky's Game Jam. There's I think 7,000 participants in it, and they you work on a game for 7 days. You publish it to the community, and then the community votes, and the top 10 games get some kind of recognition. And so we're planning on having an entry into the contest. There'll be a free to play version, and then there'll be, I guess you would call it like a DLC version, where you can pay a couple Dynamo and unlock a level that allows you to earn. And we'll do, we'll build like a full play to earn environment in this, where you can perhaps, I don't know, either buy an NFT that opens it up, or just pay Dynamo to open it up. But it'll be a full play to earn experience.
Nice. The main idea behind going after this is, first of all, we've got a time limit, so it's going to be done quickly. There's no option to be late, or you basically don't get to you don't get to finish. And we should be getting some more attention because there's quite a few people involved in that. So there's a vote going on right now for the theme for this competition, and you can pick 3 out of roughly 10 options. I believe there is a pin on Discord with the 3 that we would like people to help vote for. Those 3 options that we would like you to vote for, if you are willing to do it, is Urgent Delivery, Identity Crisis, and Here We Go Again. we already have ideas that will fit under any of those three.
Yep.
All right. What's the latest on the text MMO? Or should I just talk about that?
Yeah, we've yeah, right? Some, so yeah.
So the latest basically is we've got people actively working on this, working on the story. Sean, you've been helping out with programming some of the functionality of the game, like equipping items and so forth. There are multiple meetings set up for this coming weekend, and we are hopeful we'll be able to share some info on next week's tech update.
Yeah. That's like really just, again, low-hanging fruit, right? So
Yes.
Easy to get into and easy to play to earn, and we can spam this across Discord. It'll be.
That's right. Yep. I'm working to get this out sooner than later. We don't want to have too much feature creep on the first version, so we have something that can actually just be used and played sooner than later and still be fun. We can definitely have more versions after that and expansion packs and what have you. All right. What's up with the HTML web wallet?
So we have a couple of features completed now. I think they're the send and the wallet registration. It's going a little slow. We're making some progress. We have one community member that's working on the front end, and we have a paid developer that's working on the JavaScript in the back end. It's coming along.
It's one of those situations where we've got people working on it, but they also have real jobs, and so it's just a matter of them getting the free time between life, family, and work. But yes, there is progress being made. Okay.
Yep.
Let's hear the latest on Total Mayhem.
So the one issue that we have there still is this trademark issue. Some guy has the Cryptodes trademark that we're waiting for it to his ability to revive it to expire. That happens in early May. So we are we slowed it down a little bit just because there was no urgency. We really can't go to market with it in any big way until that threat of the potential trademark being re-registered goes away. So,
do you anticipate that the game will pretty much be ready shortly after the trademark clears?
Yeah, I mean, we're like, I'm spending probably something like 5 to 10 hours a week on it, so it's not a lot, but yeah, Russell and I are going back and forth on it every few days. We've got essentially a playable demo working in Unreal Engine where there's 3 players on each side, and you can select one player to attack another player or select a player to heal another player. So the typical sort of 3v3 Angry Birds or Pokemon paradigm is implemented. The user controls and the HUD is all done. We'll have to build out the lobby and the other components, but yeah, it will probably be very close to ready by the time that this trademark expires.
Great. And then is it also intended to still be ported to mobile or built for web?
Yeah, well, web, I don't think so. We didn't find any good tool that would allow us to reliably publish to the web. So it'll be Android, iOS, and PC initially.
Great. All right. What's going on with the NFT Marketplace? I know we've got people working on that in a similar fashion to the web wallet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that one's kind of after the web wallet. We haven't done much on that. I need to put together some of the specs for it. But I don't think the resources are there to work on it, even if I did complete those. So
right.
We got a little ways to go.
Yeah, there's good intentions, but there's just not quite enough manpower yet. Yep. All right, then we've got the NFT-based comedy game show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're putting together a demo reel probably tomorrow. I wrote the script for it today, actually, so if we can't find anybody to do it, we were originally going to have Joe Flicari do it, but he's just been swamped with his job, like 18 hours a day, every day. So I'm probably going to do it ultimately. The idea is to put together a demo reel that has the concept of the show, and then we're going to pitch it to a bunch of people. The hope is that we're going to get one of the board members to use their contacts to endorse this, and that that those people would have a substantial social media presence. The idea is that we're going to have I'll call it an amateur comedian be the host. We'll pay them for that gig, so it'll be a chance for them to earn, a chance for them to get some exposure, and then they will do this, something like a 12 question or 10 question trivia game. It'll be a trivia game about comedy, and people have to answer within 3 seconds. And then, as people answer, they go to the next round. And then if whoever's left at the end of the round gets a prize.
So this would be live
right? Produced every time. Yeah. Talking about maybe 2 times a week. Originally we talked about nightly, but I think we'll probably do it two nights a week to start.
Okay. Any rough sense of time for when this potentially could get running or rolling?
It's probably a couple months to put everything together. There's the main consideration is the platform. We need to understand, like how can we get a platform that can stream to a lot of people. Obviously, we could set up an AWS instance, but the bandwidth could be prohibitively expensive. We're thinking about Twitch or perhaps using YouTube. I don't know if they work with live because of I don't know if there's a delay or not. So we need to research some of that. But setting up the platform, because the graphics for the questions and the live stream itself is fairly trivial.
Okay.
But, yeah, a couple months to probably produce everything.
Okay, great. I've just informed Dallas arrived and we need to end the show now.
Uh-oh.
All right, we have one more item left, and that's Isle of Trials. What do you got on that?
haven't touched that in a while. Obviously, we're working on some of these other priorities. I don't know, maybe we get it funded. I've got that initial demo. It was multiplayer and working fairly well, but it's just haven't touched that one yet. So.
Okay. Well, I think that wraps it up. I don't think I caught any questions, but I'm going to scroll back really quick. I don't see any. I guess we did a good job.
Yeah. Content dump in 23 minutes.
Yep. Well, I'll say it again. I mean, I'm sure, people who missed the beginning will, if they're interested, will go listen to it again, but we're planning to make this be a weekly occurrence at 9 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Sean.
Okay, thank you.
Until next time.
Yep. All right. See you, everybody.
Bye.